Good morning. We're rolling.
Morning.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Family and Provider Information Committee. I'm so glad to see all these names um, online. I'm glad you all can make it. My name is Rosal, and I am the chair for the Family and Provider Information Committee, also along with my co-chair, Deborah Grice, that you all
Good
know.
morning, everyone.
So glad to see all of you. So before we start, Chris, if you can help with the housekeeping real quick before we move along.
Yes, thank you, Rose. And just to remind everyone, as you're aware, that Ring Central and Zoom have been updated, and I mentioned this at the general meeting. So please get used to the new bar updated. Now, normally, one of your friends needs to know what's the meeting ID number. That is also available at the last left of your screen. That will be, you can click on that, and that will be telling you your meeting ID number of this meeting code. Now, normally the microphones are always available. You can do it on computer or you're on a tablet or a cell phone. You can always put that on. The camera is still the same. The share button is always the same. The participate thing has been changed and upgraded. The hand raise is also inside. The virtual background, which you see I have, as well as Debbie has, you can also go on that. You can go to your camera station and then put a picture in your background, what you like. But I do remind you, this is not a political area. We do need to keep it peace and love, like beautiful trees or the Brooklyn Bridge on. But I do remind everyone, the hand raise is also now outside, so please use that. Please do not touch the closed caption button because that is still being upgraded, and I don't want to take a chance of that. On that. That's why I will remind everyone, if you have an announcements, or please put your name in as you're entering the meeting right now. Please make sure that you put your name. If you're an agency or a parent or an individual, please put your name. Rose and Debbie does not have to because they're the co-chairs and their names already been on automatically. On. So please make sure that you follow these instructions in the meeting. When we're up to questions, please raise your hand or put your comments on the chat, as we have a very big agenda today, and we do want to make sure we get everything in. So please make sure you follow the instructions on the housekeeping rules, and remind you, if you're having troubles getting onto the meeting, please make sure you go to the Ring Central special tip system that I recorded to make sure everyone follows that step at this time. It is very easy. Even a person with a disability actually said you did it much easier and gave us a step-by-step station. So please make sure you follow those steps as you're coming on to the meetings at this time. So please make sure that as some people are putting their information, I thank you so much. And let me just move my screen and let's welcome again Deborah, Rose, Sal, and Deborah Gripe. Ladies.
Well,
All right. Thank you, Chris, for the
thank you, Chris.
wonderful
You did a
welcome.
good job.
Yeah. So before we start, I just want to highlight again. I know this is our second meeting, right? For now, since we have changed our title, we are now the Family and Provider Information Committee. I just want to reiterate again that this committee replaces the formerly known CCO committee. Brooklyn decided to change this committee to make it more, informational for families, for our providers, as well as the CCO. So we encourage you to encourage other providers that are not on this line today, to come on, because we are sharing information, right? Vital information for the people that we support, for the providers, and as well as for families. And also in this meeting, we want care managers as well to learn the changes that are happening in our regional offices, right? We want to update from the CCOs as well. What is going on in care management? What is going on with families? So this is a great time for us to meet and share information and learn from each other, right? We've been through a lot the last 18 months. I just saw an email pop up with our new acting commissioner for OPWDD. So a lot of great things are happening. And this is where you come in, right, to receive all that information. So please, I encourage you, if you don't see a provider here that you talk to, that you make referral to, invite them to come to this meeting, because we want to make sure we collaborate, right? We all need the support from each other, especially in this workforce right now that we are. It is so challenging. I know at BCS we are down staff. There's a lot of challenges happening across with our staffing. So we can lean on each other and learn and support each other, right? One thing I think moving forward this year that we're going to learn in the upcoming year, we can piggyback off each other. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have all the information here. We have a lot of smart, intelligent people here at OPWDD that we can work with in the family. So I encourage you to please come on this call, be with us. I want the numbers to keep going up because it's very informative. And you're going to come out of these meetings fruitful with a lot of information and encouragement to do the wonderful work that we are continuing to do. With that said, Deb, before I move on, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yes, I do. It is the reason why we also changed everything before the CCOs. It was the MSC committee. As you know, everything was changed. Now, I'm talking as a parent. Many of our families need information of where to go, how to get their services, what to do or not to do. So it's important for everybody to be educated. OPWDD keeps evolving. I can tell you it has come very far full circle, which has gotten better for us. But unfortunately, we have COVID. And the COVID affects everybody and affects what the parents and families can do or not do. The other important thing is OPWDD does not also control Medicaid. They don't control the SNAP benefits. They don't control SSI. So it's very important also for you to understand what Medicaid is, SSI, or Social Security, SSDI. So we're going to try to get many different people over the next months to explain so that when you're helping the families get OPWDD services, you do it in a way that you protect them. And because it's very important. It is very hard to have a child with a developmental disability because they have so many different challenging behaviors. And remember, the children don't grow up and then go out to college. These children are with us home for me, sometimes for as long as till one of us leaves the earth. So that's why Rose and I are working together. This committee is from the Brooklyn Developmental Disability Council. I just want everyone to be aware of that. Yes, I am still the chair of the Brooklyn Family Support Committee, but we have our meetings on a different day. But I will still co-chair with this committee because I want to make sure the families have and get the services they need. And I want all the providers to be constantly educated and updated, because to get a child into the OPW system at times can be daunting. But we're here to help you so you have the right information. So with that, well, Rose, let's see. I know we have our from the Brooklyn DDRO.
Yes.
We're very excited. Lucy
Yes.
Maisie's here.
Yes, let's all welcome Lucy. I mean, we're very excited to have Region 4 in the house today. You guys there's a lot of updated information, and Lucy, thank you so much. I'm glad you was able to make it. Please go on.
Yeah.
Lucy.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here today, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you in with this new committee, and to see how we can support you and provide the information not only for the CCOs but for the family members as well. So today I'm just going to start with what's currently, I know we haven't been here in a while. We were off for the summer, then we came back in October, and we're coming. We've made a lot of changes to the way things are being done at the regional office. I'm sure that most of you are aware that the Brooklyn Developmental Office, we moved from Fountain Avenue to a new location. It's still, around the same place. It's now located on 750 Vandalia Avenue. It's just down the block from where we used to be. So that's the new office. Unfortunately, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a leak in my office. So I got flooded out. I'm using, even though it's a new building, we're already kind of having problems. I'm using the conference room. So in case the lights goes off, I may have to get up and, and just, it's kind of, motion sensitive. So I have to get up and, turn on the lights. So bear with me. Just wanted to give you that information.
Not a problem, Lucy. And
Yeah.
I will just say this. Sometimes I know that feeling because it happened to me at the DMTA building. So sometimes I have to shake my hands and do the wiggy wiggy dance. So
Correct. Correct. So today, one of the main things that's happening in Region 4 is that, we're regionalizing our processes. So that means that, previously, I know that we had eligibility. Each borough was kind of, in charge of the different, processes. But, we're moving towards regionalization, not only in New York City, but across the state. And what that means is that, we're trying to standardize our processes so that, it doesn't matter if you go to, if you're in upstate or you're in downstate, the whole process is supposed to be the same and everything is supposed to be standardized. So as a result of that, each function is having a regional lead as well as a supervisor. And I know that sometimes, some of you may have experienced it, that maybe when you went to Brooklyn, the way things were processed was different from the way it was being done at Metro. Moving forward, we're trying to eliminate that so that everything is the same. So based on that, I am the regional lead for the front door, and the supervisor for the front door is Chris Grover. Chris is actually located in Staten Island. So if you have any issue, any concern with front door, you can reach out to me or reach out to Chris. Enrollment and waiver I'm the functional lead for that as well. And the supervisor is Eileen Sacco. Most of you know Eileen and you've worked with her, as well as the CCO. I'm also over the CCO. And our supervisor, who were just, promoted to that function, is, most of you already know him, is Henry Njibe. And Henry is out right now, but when he comes back, is going to hopefully be a part of this meeting and be able to attend on a regular basis and work with you in supporting you and providing information. As you mentioned earlier in the beginning of this meeting. So for now, things are kind of the same. We're still making changes, and we're going to be providing you updates as things go on. Right now, what's happening with the front door is that we have front door info sessions on a statewide level. So we have the sessions every week. It's not the way it used to be when we will have it like maybe monthly, twice a month. Now there are many options. We're trying to do them all the time. In the morning, in the afternoon, and they just vary the time, and it's being done across the states. The whole state is doing it. So when you attend the info sessions, it's not just going to be Brooklyn. You can have people from upstate that are doing those presentations. And we have Spanish sessions once a month. In terms of sending us eligibility packets, even though we've regionalized eligibility, for now, and we're hoping to kind of develop a central mailbox so that when you send us packet, it's gonna go to like a main mailbox. However, for now, we're still working on that. There's so many details that we're still trying to work out. But for now, if you need to send us eligibility packet, it still goes through the same thing. You send it through the CCO alert mailbox or each region's mailbox. Every borough has their own eligibility mailbox, so you can send it through that the same way that you've been sending it to us. But when it comes in, it's processed on a regional level. The next updates. Okay, before I move on, I know that Rose, you mentioned our acting commissioner. Her name is Carrie Nelfield, and she just started. Today is her first day on the job. And she does have, quite an extensive experience working with children. And I'm sure at some point she's probably going to make her way around the state to get to know different regions and meet the people. But I just wanted to mention that. The next update that I have has to do with telecommuting. Some of you may know that, during the pandemic, as happened to a lot of agencies and, different organizations, most of our staff were working remotely. We have since returned to the office. Some people that are interested they have a chance to telecommute 2 days out of the week. So 2 days a week, for those who are interested, not everyone. Some people are coming into the office every day, but other people are telecommuting twice, a week. But what that means is that, all your phone calls to us should be returned, your emails should be returned, and you really shouldn't have any difficulty or problems, reaching out as staff or for them getting back to you. In terms of the vaccine, right now, all state employees that are not covered by the New York State Department of Health emergency regulations are required to show proof of vaccination or to report results of their mandatory weekly testing. So our staff, that's all they have to do, either show the proof of vaccination, or for those that are not interested, they have to be tested on a weekly basis. And that's requirements. The mandate to be vaccinated is in place only for one OPWDD specialty hospital. And that's the Terrence Cook Hospital in Manhattan. Everyone else, that's the requirement for mandatory testing is not, applicable. So to kind of explain that well, there are two governing bodies. You have CMS, Center for Medicaid Support, as well as OSHA. So those are the two regulatory bodies. We know that CMS rules supersede all other rules. So you have some agencies that are governed by CMS rules, and you have others that are governed by OSHA. So you kind of have to, it has to be decided which one the agency falls on. And they have, I think there's the detailed explanation about, which is what, or which is which on our website, if anyone is interested and they would like to have more information on that. The other thing that I have that I like to provide updates on is that, OPWDD released several ADMs to voluntary providers as well as the CCOs. There are many, changes that have been going on, since I believe August, September, we've been releasing a lot of ADMs. I'm just going to mention a few of them. Number one is the issuance of the notice of decision for service authorization. In the past, we were just issuing service authorization letter. However, effective September 1st, we started giving out notice of decisions. And that means that, we're giving parents an opportunity to request a fair hearing if they're not happy, with the decisions that were made about the services that are being authorized. Care managers were trained on this, as well as our staff were trained. And, if care managers are still not sure about, what the process entails, the training is recorded and is on SLMS. We also have an FAQ that's also, applicable. And, if for those that have not attended those training, I highly recommend that they check it out on SLMS. So secondly, we have the parental deeming process. So the parental deeming is for, as you all know, waiver services are Medicaid-funded services. And anyone that's OPWDD eligible almost automatically, qualifies for Medicaid, irrespective of the parent's income. So there's a process that's in place for individuals that are under the age of 18, where the parents' income are waived, and and the individual is allowed to get Medicaid. And most of it, we in New York, actually, it's only in New York City that for those who are interested in applying for Medicaid, they can go through. We have an office in Manhattan that's solely dedicated to supporting and helping care managers, to apply for Medicaid for those individuals. And I believe effective October 1st, some changes were made to the way that process is being done. In the past, we have care managers, and we also have non-Medicaid agencies that will help family members to apply for Medicaid. And the sole purpose of getting Medicaid is really for those individuals to be able to apply for waiver services. But what was happening was that, we were seeing that a lot of people would get Medicaid, but they were not necessarily applying for waiver services. So that means that whole point is defeated. So the Department of Health, they decided to change, that process. They wanted to make sure that everyone that does apply for that Medicaid under that parental deeming guidance, that they meet the requirements and that they're also interested in waiver services. So as a result of that, the front door is involved. That means that, before people can apply for that parental deeming or Medicaid, they have to go through the front door. And the front door facilitator will have to evaluate them, make sure that they qualify and they meet the requirements, and there's a need for them for waiver services. So we will now, agree on a waiver service. As a result, the care manager is required to include a copy of the request for service authorization that's done at the front door. After we do our assessment, we agree that this is a service that this person is going to be having. The care manager will fill out and submit the request for service authorization. And our front door facilitator will sign it. And they will send a copy back to the care manager. So the care manager will need to include that in the application for Medicaid. So that change went into effect October 1st. There's also another change. This change is all across the states. It's not just us. Also, effective November 4th, 2021, all level of care eligibility redeterminations, as well as all initial level of cares, are now being completed in choices. In the beginning, this has gone into, we started doing this a while back, but in the beginning, when we first did it, there were some glitches in choices. So that, when care managers were required to have the initial level of care, and if they didn't have the date of the initial level of care, they had to reach out to the DDRO for us to check, our records, as well as, they have to use the date that was indicated in tabs. It was a lot going on with that. And sometimes, they had to wait because, there was so much going on our end. We couldn't always, get them the record as quickly as they wanted. But they've made changes to choices. So now moving forward, all those glitches have been resolved. So now care managers can go into choices, do a redetermination. I think a feature was put in because what was happening was that, when they would do the level of care, there was a question that would ask, is this an initial or a redetermination? And in the past, it just defaulted to initial. But now, care managers, I believe, the answer is no. So care managers would need to really pay attention and check that to make sure if it's an initial or if it's a redetermination. So that's also something that has happened that's now in effect. There are more ADMs that are coming. All these ADMs that I talked about, they're on our website, and anyone can go there if you want to. And I do encourage everyone to go on, check them out, get more details. And there are more that are coming down the pipeline. That has to do with housing subsidy and, and other changes that are going on. And I'm sure as we continue to come to these meetings, we're going to be keeping you appraised. So that's all I have. I don't know if anybody has questions or clarifications.
Before we start, Lucy, just to remind some people that came in late, if anyone has a question, because we do want to make sure everyone, please follow the procedure to raise your hands or put your information onto the chat. We'll start with the co-chairs first. Who wants to go first? Alphabetical, or who wants to go first, ladies?
Alphabetical. Okay, Lucy, that was amazing what you just explained, and I do like a lot of the changes. The part I'm concerned about is one, family support services are still, I hope, intact. I'm not saying, I know things are being updated, but that one, there'll be family support services, and I also hope, what I'm saying is when it comes to like the housing, unfortunately there's a need and there's not enough housing. And I do know parents that have set up where if they're living in an apartment, a co-op, or a home, that yeah, I understand this happens. So it's okay. I understand. I know you can still hear me. It's okay. I understand. And I feel bad your office leaks.
That's okay.
But the part I'm bringing about is OPWDD. I want to make I know families who have actually, I do know personally, the mother died and the daughter is still living in the apartment, and that I believe she's getting an OPWDD help with to pay for the rent. And she does, her sister lives above her, and I'm not else, but I'm giving that only as an example because since we have this housing shortage, I do hope they consider that because it's important. We want them to be, since there's such a waiting list, and I don't want the individuals to be in a crisis because the parent passed away. And I also know houses that where the siblings have made sure that the individual lives in the house. So I hope they're doing that. The other thing that is be a big issue, which I know you don't have control of, but that we also have to update a lot of the Social Security laws so that our individuals, whatever programs that are possible, because of, and many of our children collect now under their parents' Social Security, and they're going by the older income levels. And and yes, I've been advocating, and I know the ARC across the nation is doing this, is that we're trying to update everything because this way it'll be easier eventually when you have these work training programs, rental subsidies and everything. It'll be so much easier because everything will be more realistic. Have you heard anything of what I said? Or you don't know? I understand if you don't know. I can't hear you.
Lucy, you're muted.
Yeah. I just realized that. Yeah. I was going to say that, in terms of the housing, I know that, there are quite a few opportunities that are available. We have agencies that have been, issued grants, and they have like new developments, in different areas. So there are more opportunities in terms of housing than what was previously, available. I know, for instance, that Block has, contract. I don't know those details, but I believe that I did send you information about those.
Yeah.
And there are also new developments that are coming up. So housing opportunities, and we're going to learn more as I just told you that, we're expecting an housing subsidy ADM that's supposed to be coming out like soon. And that's going to be very detailed. It's going to explain, what's available, the roles of the care managers, the family members, what's required. And I think, it's going to be easier to understand, and as well as easier to navigate the process than what we currently have. So I'm kind of, I'm hopeful that things are going to get better in terms of housing and placements and those opportunities. Regarding the SSI, unfortunately, yeah, you're right. I'm not such an expert, and I'm interested in and looking forward to learning, as you guys invite guest speakers to speak about on those topics. So
I'll forward you some information at another date, and I'll speak with you more on offline because it's super technical. But I will tell you, you probably the ARC in New York City's AHRC, they're doing this because if you don't raise the income levels, you cannot. The programs that you have some very good, excellent programs where an individual can learn to work, but it's not worth losing their medical coverage, and then their medical coverage is whatever they make is only going to pay, and they don't have money for anything else. It's not good. And the only other question I had is that most family support services I know they're going to be updating like reimbursement, a few others, but they're staying basically intact, the family support services.
You know what? I know that some changes have been made. I couldn't tell you those details because nothing has been finalized yet. So I really want to, I wouldn't want to jump ahead of, of the guidance.
No, I understand. I just wanted to know if like you heard of anything, because at the last statewide, we turned it all into the reimbursement discussion. So we are discussing it because and I know I'm not saying to anybody what it is, but the council is working statewide with OPWDD because we want to make sure we strengthen this very important and vital family support services that helps the families across the state. So that's all I will say about that. And I appreciate, Lucy, that you answer me the way you do, because I appreciate that, because I feel like we are working together as a team, and I like that we can continue. So I've asked my questions, and I thank you so much that you are doing this and appearing. Rose, it's your turn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. This was really great. We have a lot of, great information. And I'm glad to hear that we do have trainings on SLMS that are recorded for the providers. I wasn't aware of that. So I'm glad to hear that. I will be going back, to check on SLMS. I just wanted to piggyback real quick on what you share with housing, Debbie, just to let you know, I know Black Institute, yes, does have grant for ISS, and so is Brooklyn Community Services. We have housing as well opening right now in Coney Island, for individuals who meet the requirements of under ISHI, which is for people who either are at risk of being homeless or are currently homeless. So I've been getting a lot of a packet from Region 4, from all the regions, right, from downstate. So we also have those housing, and I too am hopeful that it's going to get better. And as we are, bringing more housing forward, I'm hoping as well that we'll have more training, because I think our rules and guidelines in terms of ISS need to be revamped. The budget for those individuals need to be revamped, and staff need to be trained. So I think there's a lack of training in that particular area for ISS. So I'm looking forward to see, what OPWDD have in place for those programs.
What you just said, Rose, is very important. You're absolutely correct. So that's why we need to train all of our providers, the families, because the DDRO, everything is being changed to help us. So now it's your turn again.
Yes. I was gonna say that that ADM that's coming out is really very detailed, and I definitely training is going to be provided.
Are parents allowed to take that training? I'm asking because in the past, before it became even OPWDD, and the councils had to do trainings also when it was Morton Street, and they made me take every training that at that time what an MSD took. I took everything. That's why a lot of people look at me like, oh, you should work. No, I'm doing that to make sure that one, when families ask me questions about services, I'm educated. And since things have changed, I have to update my trainings and knowledge, because I know it's not to take over, but I just want to be a better chair of my, and also to help the family. That's my first priority.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You know what? That's a very good point. And I'm not like 100% sure, but I do know that, most of our trainings are done through SLMS. And we know that, sometimes, it's not as easy for parents and people that are not providers to navigate that system. So, but I would think that the training is there on SLMS, and if they're able to get on, there's really nothing to prevent them. But I would certainly take this back to just find to get a more concise answer to that to that question.
Can you also please say that all the council chairs across the state, we do want to be updated on everything, because even though everyone says, oh, we only do family support, that's not true. Our role is to keep the individuals home as long as possible, but at the same time, prepare the families if and when the child is going to go into whatever type of placement, and understand how to help them with the services. So when they're not here, child will still be able to exist and live with a quality of life. So thank you, Lucy. Rose, are you there?
Excuse me, guys. This is Chris. Just want to let you know Maria Prasad is here. She had a little. Yeah, I just want to let you guys know we have at least 9 minutes, because I know we promised her to speak at 10:45. Lucy,
Problem.
Lucy, this might help. Also, a double header issue's been going on also. So I hope you can stay on too.
Let me I'll say her name. Lucy, we have Maria Ortiz Casada, head of New York City Medicaid, coming on at 10:45, because we want to make sure that the providers and parents are totally educated on how to work with Medicaid and fill out the forms correctly. So just
Maria, I know you're on. I'll mute you in a few minutes. Just wanted, because we have people have questions for Lucy, and I'll put you on mute, off mute a minute, because I don't want to cause an echo. With you let me just get this done. Does anyone have a question for Lucy? As again, I remind you, you can put it on the chat, because Lucy can also read the chat, or raise your hand. I smell some people ask these questions at the meeting the other day, and I hope someone, not hiding from me.
Yeah, they're all hiding.
Yeah, they're hiding, all right. Okay. Lucy, there was one question that was on the chat, and I'm just scrolling up. Okay, I'm going to read one question. Person said they totally agree with the working together, that we all have here for the same goals in mind to help people with developmental disabilities. That is one thing one person said on the chat. No, and I remind everyone, you have a question, you can also put it in the chat. I know a lot of you did put your announcements on. I thank you also. But it's, again, if anyone has a question, it is available. Your hand is outside the screen. If you're on a tablet or phone, you can please just put your information on the chat saying, Chris, I have a question, and then I will tell you to unmute. Otherwise, otherwise, no one has any questions right now. We'll move on to our next speaker.
Wait, I see if Rose has anything else she needs to add in.
Rose, do you have additional question?
No, thank you. I was just going to ask you some questions, see if anyone have questions, but since we're done, I think we can move along.
I think that's the
thank
first
you
time
so
I've
much,
ever seen
Lucy.
a person doesn't have any questions. That's really funny.
Now they don't. Oh, because they. Okay.
Well, Lucy, I know you wrote. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I hope you can stay in here if possible. All right. Would you like me to introduce our next speaker?
You two have to choose that one. But before
do it.
Before you guys go, because I know somebody asked me on the chat, Lucy's phone number and emails are here. Always remember, first and last name at opwdd.ny.gov. Please make sure you do that. Okay.
All
So
right.
I'm now going to move on to the next screen, and I'm going to and Lucy put it also in the chat. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you very much. All right.
Ready?
Now, okay, I will introduce. I would like to introduce someone that I find has been extremely helpful to our families, our individuals, but someone who also helps and really sees that Medicaid is done correctly for our families. Her name is Maria Ortiz Casada from New York City. She's the Director of Eligibility Information Services at New York City for Medicaid. Maria, it is your speak.
And you can speak there, Maria, on YouTube. You don't have to press the star
Hi,
six.
good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Loud
Yes,
and clear.
we can hear you very clear.
Yes,
Thank
we can.
Great. I'm so happy to that is correct because I couldn't get into the Ring Central. I do not have access. Here, everything you need access to get into. So good morning, everyone. I am just going to go over some new things that have happened with the program and things that have always been in place in order for you to get assistance. One of the things I wanted to mention in this meeting before I continue, because it touched me deeply, Charlie Hope, I know you guys know him, he passed away. His family or someone sent me an announcement. They have a service on Friday in a lodge. If anybody wants, you can call me and I'll give it to you. But I was very touched because Charlie was an advocate. He helped people with developmental disabilities through Queen Center for Progress, but he always advocated for us too as well, for the programs that people needed to learn. And I would say that to everybody that's listening, learn what are they doing with the program? What is it that they have to accomplish? For example, my office, Eligibility Information Services, is available to all providers and agencies. Some of you call us nonstop, which is fine if you already did some of that work yourself. I know through COVID, since March 2020, a lot of things have been kind of difficult for some of the agencies, and we have been here throughout the whole time to assist. And thank you, Deborah, because you said that, and I appreciate your kind words. It's my job. We do in our office our job to assist consumers in New York City. Some of them do not live in New York City, and we still assist them. Why? Because consumers need that from me, from us, but they also need it from your agencies that are out there. So having said that and having mentioned Charlie, because I really care, he was a great advocate, I will move on to say that during COVID, a lot of cases have been extended. The state has extended cases now from March 2020 through they're going to be extended to January 2022. So a lot of consumers should not be, their cases should not be closed during COVID. If it has happened, then you are free to contact our office. A lot of developmental disability, or the 3 agencies that are out there now, Advanced Care Alliance, Tri-County, and I forgot the other name. I cannot think of the other name, but
it's Care
thank
Design.
you. Care Design, yes. All those agencies call my office. Sometimes I'm very tough with those people, and I know some of you have heard. Why am I tough? Because, yes, we will be here to walk you through, to send the information to the program, but the caller needs to understand what is it that they're asking, okay? Callers need to understand community-based long-term care versus the cases downgraded. Consumers should not be closed during this time. How do we communicate all this information to all of you? We have a website called MARC, Medicaid Authorized Resource Center. That's how I type it in and get in it, New York City. And then you can register there. You that way get all the announcement about our class. We are, right now, today, I say yes to this, but I also had a class scheduled for Medicare Savings Program. I'm in another room while they talking. My staff is talking, and I have something else that came up, which in a way hasn't worked. So in a way it's good because I was doing 3 things at once. But I can do that, even though I'm a little older. But going back to the system, going back to Medicaid, going back to assisting consumers, present to us what is it that you need. For example, somebody can call me and they tell me, but something is wrong with this case. And I'm like, but this is a DAC. How come you do not understand that? You work with this population. So if a disabled adult child lost coverage, he should not be in the excess income. What the caller should be saying to my staff is, this person coverage was changed, or they were incorrectly added to the excess income program. Maybe it was the extension that the state granted coverage. And then let my staff, because unfortunately, you know, we have, and I'm thinking I'm in the other class, my staff just said to those people in the other call, we have a very small unit. It's a very small unit. We do a lot of great work, but it's kind of hard when you have someone not understand all the intricacies of the program, because why? I expect the caller to know those intricacies as well. And if they don't, then they are welcome to come to our disabled, aged, and blind class. That the next class is going to be November 17th. In that class, you know, we expect people, first of all, to stay through the whole class, but also to understand we do cover disabled, aged, and blind. We cover who qualifies, we cover, you know, the type of coverage that people get. Most of the people in this call deal with developmentally disabled. I'm thinking all of you, right? So all of you should make sure that your consumers have community-based long-term care. The law, the state, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying
What
you're
did
correct.
you say?
You're right, 100%.
Thank you. So how would you know that? Because you should be checking your software every time. I would not say every day, but I would say every 2 or 3 months. If it's a big group, I'm sorry, but consumers that are getting assistance should get correct assistance. Sometimes, and I will say this and I really get upset, I have parents calling my office because someone could not call on their own. They send a parent to call, and what if I wasn't the type that I am, or my staff was I need? So the consumer, you need to call the helpline because this is not where you're supposed to be calling. We might say that statement to people, but what we do ask also is, who gave you this number? And they would say, well, the blah, 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 the care manager. That is so sad. Why is that sad? Because, again, that is a responsibility that somebody has to assist a consumer. Why send the consumer? And the consumer may not know, the parent may not know the codes. They don't know the difference between community-based long-term care and no long-term care. I mean, some of them may, if they are very savvy and they want to represent their children, but it's the job of the agencies to do that. It's the job of the agency to know that EIS, Medicaid doesn't do OPWDD coding. We may ask the program to change your no long-term care because it was graded incorrectly because the case was extended to community-based long-term care, so then you can go to OPWDD or you can go to wherever you have to go to ask them for the additional coding if it has been taken down. When we look at a case, when I look at a case, I look at all those things, but it's because I know all those things. You know, I go in email need and I say, oh, this person, in addition to us doing this, asking the program and they already corrected the coverage, now I need to WDD. If they are in the call, those ladies, I love them, Vera and Wanda Williams. I used to love Milton because they were helpful because that's how we work. We want to make sure that the whole case is correct. Because I can just do a piece. But again, I expect that from the agency assisting the consumer. That's how it should be. It should not be that, oh, and you haven't done this. And when you start talking to agencies, they don't want to hear it, the reps. Sometimes it's like, oh, excuse me, if you call my office, if you are assisting consumers and you need to learn then what you do, and yes, you are going to hear me out. Why? Because you should be telling me those things that I'm saying to you, not the other way around. So, having said that, I told you about the renewals. The cases are going to be extended to January. Easements related to applications, a lot of consumers, and going back to COVID, you will be surprised how many consumers, Renee is here sitting with me, she works with me, how many cases were closed for months, never mind COVID, were closed for months. And now, because COVID happened, now we are assisting you in getting these cases reinstated. So who was checking the software? You know, to make sure that this consumer's case wasn't closed for 6 months, or maybe you had a problem. My office is always available, so I don't understand. And again, very limited. The phone rings off the hook, but we answer the phone, and it's day by day. But some of you also have my email, so if there's a situation with a case where you couldn't get through to let us know, then do not wait months to have this case corrected. Cases that got downgraded, let's say in March, it's 2 years since COVID started. So let's say in March 2020, a case got downgraded. How come we are in 2021 and nobody brought that case to the attention of the program? And now it's a year and some months. So now we need to do the research and go back and see the original day when this case was downgraded. One of the providers, again, no names, called, and they got upset with me because I said, you should have told us that information. You should have told my staff. You need to be clear on what is it that you need when you call. So if Maria's case got downgraded in January 2020 and it's still downgraded today, you need to say that to the staff that's taking that message. The case was downgraded in January 2020, so it's the wrong call since then. So I just don't need you to fix it now for 6 months. I need the program to go back. And if necessary, then quote the law. The law says, the state said in 2011 that they started with the Deficit Reduction Act in 2004-5. And at that point, people needed to document resources every time they came and recertify. But in 2011, the state said, you no longer have to do that. So there are Medicaid alerts in MARC that say all these things. So in some instances, agencies do use those alerts, and I don't blame them. Why? Because it's too old information. People forget about these things. So I'm not saying the Medicaid program doesn't do their job. They do a wonderful job. They do an extremely great job with the same limitations that everybody has right now. Staff might have been working from home for a while. We are always getting adjusted. So do not blame the program, and I'm not blaming anyone, but bring the information, bring your evidence when you come through either the on-the-care unit, and I'm going to give you that on-the-care email. There was an alert that we posted in September 8th. Well, we send it out in September 8th again. It had been posted earlier with the on-the-care provider relations at hra.nyc.gov. I speak fast, so you can go into MARC and access the information. But let's say that you do not have a computer. You're not a computer person. You can also fax the request. When you fax a request, again, be clear on what is it that you need. There's a 751W form and a 751K that the person can complete. In some instances, for example, if Maria Ortiz had that coverage back from when she was on SSI, and then she became a DAC, and she had full coverage, and all of a sudden the state extended a case in 2020 or even a few months ago, and now the coverage is downgraded, Maria does not have to bring proof of resources. That was an error. So in that instance, you don't need to submit documentation. Most of your cases, you have community-based long-term care. So if they now do not have it, maybe the program needs a form completed, a supplemental A, because we never had it. Maybe the person went from SSI to Medicaid, and that was never submitted, but it's not required. Why? Because the case was downgraded. It's an issue of they extended the case, and the coverage, I guess the easiest coverage was 20, and they changed it. You need to know how to use this information. You need to go through on the care, give them the request. Now, let's say you gave a request to on the care, and I know I'm going to hear some of this. So some of the cases have been submitted, but taking into consideration that we are all going through COVID and they have limited staff as well. If the case did not get processed and it's now a few weeks or months, then you call EIS, but you need to explain everything. What is it? What happened? I sent it to Undercare in September 20th. And here we are in November, and it hasn't been done. All those details need to be included in that email that we send. We do, there's a system that we use to send updates to the program, and we put all that information. But when I send someone an email that says, oh, the case is downgraded, fix the coverage, what does that mean? If I see it from my staff, I tell them, when did this happen? Was this person already, they have full coverage before and it was downgraded? So again, helping each other to help the consumer, give as much detail as you can. I don't know if I gave you the fax number for Undercare, but their number is 917-639-0837.
Excuse me, Maria.
Now I have.
Can you say that a little slower? Because somebody's asked me that.
Okay, so it's 917-639-0837. That's the Undercare unit that will upgrade that coverage that has been, and I think that will be the biggest issue that your agencies will have. And I'm saying it with 100% certainty because I've seen it all through COVID that it has happened. Why? Because there's electronic extensions being granted, and somehow people's case gets downgraded. If it's a birthday correction, if a consumer moved and changed their address, all those things go to the Undercare unit at Medicaid. I'm trying to think. I wanted it to say, the applications easements. So applications easements, again, there was an alert that has been published several times during COVID. Why? Because we also have the renewal information there. So I just sent an update yesterday or the day before, advising of the January extension. But at the beginning of that alert, it speaks about two things: new application easements, where if some of your consumers, like I stated before, got closed for months, and now they're applying. For them, it will be just an issue of completing an application. Why? Because the consumer is known to the program. Consumers that are not known to the program, also the easements were for a lot of the documentation that's not available, except immigration and identity. But again, if I was on SSI, if I was on SNAP, or I'm still on SNAP, or I was in some kind of case, the program has my information. You don't need to document birth certificates. You understand, those things are not needed. The state went as far as to say that consumers that need community-based long-term care, they are applying. They are not able to submit, but they attest they have a bank account and they cannot submit a statement, but they need community-based long-term care, will get the better level of coverage. Those things are going to change in January. We don't know exactly the date in January, but as of January, those easements are going away for new applications. But again, knowing your consumer, knowing their history, knowing your materials, you do not need to submit a lot of information for someone that is already known. Somebody that was downgraded, and that's an error. Now, if someone never documented their bank information, they never completed a supplemental A, I'm guessing they now applying for the waiver, then that person should be submitting those documents, but if they can right now. But if they cannot right now, then they need to assess they cannot do that. And that has been in place since March 2020 until the present, and it will be in place until January 2021. So let me know if you guys have questions, because I don't know if I forgot something. I wanted to speak about some.
Maria, before we start, I know our coaches are going to go first. This will give me a chance for other people to remind them, if you have a question, please raise your hand or put your comments on the chat. But there is one question for you, Maria. I emailed you the information about, can you please send me the information for Charlie Hope so I can share that out?
Oh, I can, but it's an invite, which I was very upset because when I opened it, I didn't know what it was. And I saw his picture. I will send it to you. And they are also asking, it's Friday from 7 to 10, this coming Friday. They're asking for donations for Meals on Wheels instead of, giving flowers or all those things. So I will send it to you so you can send it.
Thank you.
I'm very upset about it. I really like Charlie.
Mhm.
I'm Maria, this is Deborah. I'm really very upset because he was the first one who taught me as a parent how to understand to work with Social Security, Medicaid, and how to fill out all the forms. I mean, I go a long way since Chris was little. This is sad.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, very sad.
It is. But I just want my co-chair Rose. Do you want me to ask the question? You need to.
No, go ahead, Deb. I don't have any question right now.
Maria, can you? Everyone hears me say it, but could you give everybody a brief explanation of what a DAC is? So they don't think, because sometimes people have said that I made this up, and I know the law.
What is it? What is what? I'm sorry, Deborah. I didn't get what you said.
All right.
DAC.
The DAC, or you and I understand what a DAC is.
Aged, you mean disabled, aged, and blind? I'm sorry, disabled adult child.
Right.
That's what you're talking about.
Right. They don't. They
So
I will
tell you some of the criteria for a disabled adult child.
Yeah.
So this child is on SSI prior to their 22nd birthday. And so they are disabled and on SSI, and now their parent passes away. So the child's Social Security card, which unfortunately cards no longer have a suffix, the Social Security card, one of the indicators is a C as in cat on the card. But the most important thing is that this child is now collecting Social Security. So they lost OSSI not because they're no longer disabled, but because their parent either became disabled themselves, the parent died, or the parent retired. And then that disabled adult child, which might be 30, 20-something, 40, is entitled to collect Social Security based on the parent's earnings. But that person would have had to have been on SSI at some point prior to, like I said, become disabled prior to age 22. So Medicaid can figure it out, but the letter, one way to help Medicaid and help the consumer is when you speak to Social Security to make sure that they say this is a disabled adult child on their letter, on the award letter.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the background, Maria. Chris, if anybody else has questions. Okay. Thank you for the explanation, Maria. I really appreciate that.
I'm going to check with Lucy Amazy. Lucy, do you have any question for Maria? And Maria, just to let you know, Lucy Amazy is from OPWDD for Brooklyn.
Oh, nice to meet you, Lucy.
Lucy, are you there? She was our first speaker, and yeah, she's still here. Lucy Amazy, are you still here? Yeah, she's still here.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I was kind of muted. Yeah. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you so much, Maria. Nice to meet you. I think we may have connected before, maybe, over the phone or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar, but just be aware that if you need me for anything, you can call me or email me.
I appreciate that. I think I did reach out. I worked in the Bronx at one time, and I think it was then that I was, I was in touch and in contact with you.
Prior to COVID, we went to other boroughs. I had an advisory council meeting every 2 months after my citywide meeting, which I haven't done. I did it once this year, and I'm planning to do it in December again because it's kind of hard to manage right now with all the things and all this technology. Yes. But we are going to have another citywide meeting. Unfortunately, the borough meetings I have not been able to do. Hopefully next year we are going to start going out to the boroughs. But, it's great that, again, the technology, even though I'm not a technology person myself, that we are able to communicate this way, because at the end of the day, it's all about the consumers that we serve and make sure that they are okay. So if you need me for anything, again, you go through your process, but you are not able to get something resolved, my office number is 929-221-8255. 0865. That's the main number, the one that rings nonstop. Then we also have been doing some kind of waiver letters. It's a proof of someone having Medicaid, and these letters are being used by providers, not providers, advocates, lawyers, to assist consumers in obtaining citizenship, assist consumers in renewing their green card, and sometimes consumers use it to bring it to the utility companies. But in the same frame of things, some people are asking people to do letters so they can show it to their agency, and I'm like, why? Or show it to the MLTC, and I'm like, that makes no sense, because if there's a problem with a case, my solution is bring it to the attention of the program. So why would I give a consumer a letter so she can bring it to her agency so the agency can do what? You understand? So it makes no sense. So I'm all about solutions and fixing situations. So when we get those type of requests, instead of sending the consumer a letter, we call them and try to get to the bottom. What is the issue? If we can determine before we call them, because we can look at the case and we say, oh, this is the problem. So we send it to the appropriate area within the program. But when we cannot, then we reach out to the consumer. But, you know, it's a good benefit, those waiver letters. My understanding is that to renew your green card is over $500. But to renew your, to become a citizen, I don't think they increased it yet, but it's like $700 and change. So for a consumer that is in a limited income, why wouldn't they get a letter to have that fee waived? So we have a number for that, which is 929-221-0866. Again, the very little group of people answering the phone. So, you know, feel free to call us. What happens with our line at 65 is that somebody put voicemail on it prior to my group moving here. It was during Sandy, because another program came and sat here for a few months. But we do not have voicemail in my unit. That means that we answer the phone. But again, in the essence of clarity, 10 calls can come in one line, and I don't have 10 people at the same time answering the phone. So what does that mean? It's going to ring a few times. It's going to give you that crazy message about voicemail, and then it's going to tell you there's no voicemail. What does that mean? Just try back. We will answer. We eventually will get you. And when the order fails, then you guys can reach out to me, those of you that know my information.
Maria, this is Chris again. Somebody put in the chat, can you please repeat the phone number again, but slowly, because you went very fast. This is what one person just said on the chat.
I know, I'm very fast. So my number is 929-221-0865. The one for the waiver letters is the same number, ending in 0866. For the classes, presentations, is 0869, but in reality, we are not doing manual registration any longer. We are posting announcements about classes, and then we send the link, or we are sending the announcement with the link. So people need to register themselves through either WebEx, but lately we have been using Zoom.
Mm-hmm. I'm just reading. Okay. I did put that in, just to let everyone know. I did put the information she just did, but I remind everyone. Yes, I know someone's saying thank you to me. Does anyone have a question for Maria, or all of a sudden you have a question for Lucia Maisie? Because I know some of you came in late. I remind you that the housekeeping rules were adjusted, and just remind you there is a hand in front of you if you're on a computer. If you're on a tablet, just please put in the chat that you have a question, and I will tell you to unmute.
So Christopher, before you take those questions, I just wanted to repeat the Disabled, Aged, and Blind class. The next class will take place November 17. Those of you that are not registered in MARC can register by going through Google and doing Medicaid Authorized Resource Center, New York City. It will bring you the page. It will bring you in the right-hand side is an email. You don't go there if you have not registered. You go to the left, which shows a registration key. So please, all of you that need assistance in those classes, I'm pretty sure you can learn a lot about the program and everything the program offers.
Okay, check. Okay, let me just check my.
Maria, Maria, can you also explain that New York State has where it for the DACs they cover the Part A and B of Medicare because they're collecting under their parents' Social Security. So a lot of parents don't understand and the professionals don't even understand about also the income level for that.
Well, the income level for DAC we disregard, or the Medicaid program disregards some of the information, some of the income, but children or adults that are eligible as a disabled adult child are entitled to the original Medicare. So where it's really not based on the income, because Medicare Savings Program is based on income, but they are entitled to the original Medicare, so it gets added to their file if they are on Medicare A or B and the program pays for their Part B. We, like I stated before, are doing a class right now on Medicare Savings Program in the other room. So next time we have it, you guys can sign in.
We will.
Or Maria, this is Chris again. We can always, since Ring Central had some new features, which I'm going to pop up right now on the screen because I just switched around for a minute. We been also now have breakout rooms. So if say we have to do a training day, if information committee wants to do it, or say, because I know that Joyce's wants to maybe do one in virtual world to do a lot of training because the Medicaid is a concern issue. So we do, with all these changes coming in, and I agree what you're saying earlier, we have to keep the same information and facts together so people don't get over panicky on that. So
Maria, just have to ask you, what time is the class? And the reason I'm asking is
our class is from 10 to 5. When we do, not this one is until 2 o'clock because it's a shorter presentation. For disabled, aged, and blind used to be a 2-day class, and I try to do it in 1 day now. I may go back to 2 days or a day and a half, even if virtual. But right now it's a day from 10 to 5.
But the 17th is from what, 2 to 5?
10 to 5. 10 to 5.
Okay. One problem for in the morning is the advisory council and the DD council's joint meeting. So I will have to do it a different day. I apologize.
Yeah, you can do December. We're going to do it in December.
Okay, because I know I need the training. I accept it.
Mm-hmm. We do have another question from Megan. Pot, do you want to speak or you want me to read your question? And she is from one of the CCOs.
Okay.
I'm trying to see where she is. Where is she? She just wrote something just now, so. Okay, she just wants me to read this. I wanted to add that the HRA and the DAB training is excellent, and anyone who's interested is know more about Medicaid. They should attend if they are available. And I think she agrees with you. Her name is Meg Power from ACANY.
Thank you, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
We want to hear good stuff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to hear because we all got to make sure anything new comes in, we got to learn it. Just like the Omni, which I'll hold my question after. Does anyone else have a question for her before I go to the chats again?
Well, I want everyone to also understand the thing that Maria, when I'm Miss Dyslexia when it comes to math and filling out forms, first of all, Charlie started in helping me, and so did Maria. And the reason is, right at this moment, some of our families don't have care coordinators, or they're in between, or they have family members who are DACs but not OPW under OPWDD's umbrella. I appreciate, because when I now go into the office, when I have to bring the paperwork in, I was treated very well. They understood what I asked for. Somebody looked at my papers and saw that everything was fine. And then, they gave me a receipt, and I was able to go. And then I got my answer in a few weeks, which was fine. So I just want everyone to know that, yes, they really do help us, and take advantage of whatever trainings you can get, because it's very important to know.
Okay.
Deborah, thank you. But I'm sorry, Chris. Those kudos go to the Medicaid program. That's the Medicaid staff that did that. And I know they do an excellent job, and they work very hard to assist everyone.
I just wanted you to know, because there's some of us have relatives who are DACs that are not in OPWDD programs. It's in a lot of the families in my council have children of different type disabilities, and they've had to go to the office because the children who are not under OPW don't have the same, have a care coordinator, somebody could help them and put the forms in, or the program. So they've always asked me to, when I get you, to say thank you as well. I say thank you because it makes a big difference when you have to help a person with a different disability that is a DAC, and you can go to the office when you before COVID. I understand the rules, but it makes them feel better because they feel they're being acknowledged and they're given the help. So I wanted you to know, because in this world, we have multiple disabilities with our families.
I have two comments from a chat. This one is saying all care managers should be acquiring to attend the DAB training. It is very important. And I agree to that as well. The other one,
I agree.
Yeah, I think we all know that everyone has to go for those trainings. Doesn't matter, it has to be a care manager. If you should know what procedures, because in New York we're very strict and we do follow the rules. We have to follow the rules up to the highest level. The other question that came up, Maria, is and I'm trying to understand what they're writing, but the main thing is, and forgive me because everyone is writing their biography on me. They're saying one thing. They're saying, Maria, it is always great to see you. I hope you can come back and do more training, more of this, because we do need to wake up a lot of the parents and agencies, because we need to work together as one.
I agree 100%. Thank you for that comment.
On that. Then does anyone else have any questions? That was the last chat one. Okay, then I'll go for my last question. Maria, just to let you know, one thing you should be aware of, and I'm going to speak as an MTA hat. As you know that we are getting ready to switch to the Omni cards in the future. You need to be aware that instead of seeing like those little square little paper schmata thing we get from the machine, now they can get it printed out now from when you have a full Omni card or a reduced fee in the future. You can print out when you've been paying each month with your Omni card. That's going to be more easier for you guys. So just to let you know, that issue you brought up to me, or I think one of your colleagues did a couple of years ago, that was passed. And if I go to my Omni, let's say, example, you need a receipt approved when I paid my Omni card, like I energized, like, let's see, $30 or $40, or monthly or weekly, or normally the monthly. I will have a proof of each month on that. And that's going to be in the omni.info website, just to share that information for you. Maria?
I'm listening to you. That's very good. But you reminded me. You reminded me, I just came into the other room and I have my big voice. you reminded me about a new way that people can pay their excess income, because there are people out there that do have excess income. So I'm going to get the So consumers that used to call DARP, they can still call DARP, but they can also pay online now. And when you started talking about the OmniCard, it popped up in my head that I didn't give you that information.
Mhm.
But also, the agencies on the call, and I don't know how many agencies are there, they can also go through Mark. Again, I don't know if you can ask them and they can show you how many of them have registered in the website, because I'm calling in. I don't see it. They can access the alert. The alert was posted last week.
20.
20?
Yes, because we have some people linked. We have some people with a group, and right now I just got the correct number. It's one group. There is one group that's here that has 10 people, so we really have 26. The number everyone's looking at, 16, is not correct.
That's
Okay. So in a few minutes, because I had to ask someone to go get me the alert, just to give you the link, but you can go through finance, New York City Finance, and I'll give you the link in a few minutes.
Excuse me,
So
hi,
you
this is
can-
Deborah Greif. I have a message from Lucio Mezzi. She apologizes, but she had another meeting she had to go to immediately. Whatever questions you have for her on the chat, we will make sure she gets it, and you'll see that you get an answer to the best of everyone's ability. And she thanks you and enjoyed being part of this. Okay, so Christopher, did you hear what I just said?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to be now. There's one person was unmuting, Miss MYKA. You can unmute yourself, please, if you have a question. Going once. Okay, Maria. Since no one else has any other questions, we want to thank you so much.
She's trying to get us a link.
Oh,
Wait a moment. She's going to get us a link. But
Okay, no, Deborah, it's okay. People that are registering Mark, or those that register, can get the information in Mark. They go through finance, New York City Finance, and they go to pay Medicaid, and they will find the link there. I just wanted to read it to you, but it is all the information is in the alert that we posted. The alert even has a link to go into the webpage. So I just for those people that do pay excess income, it will be much easier for the person now to do it online. But if they never paid excess income and they are determined excess income eligible, they need to call DARP for an initial assessment so they can put their information in the system. The number for DARP, I'm trying to remember it. It's 929-221. I think it's 50. No, I'm not going to guess. You guys are going to get it, and if not, I can email it to you.
okay.
I can email you the link and the alert, but in reality, I want people to go access the alert and register. Why? Because that's the only way that you get information from Medicaid. All these changes that are happening with home care soon, with the technology, with the payment electronically, with the renewals extensions, with the easements going away, all those things are going to be posted in Mark the minute that we have, the information. Any changes to state policy, we put an alert out. So please register, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank
We
you so
really,
much.
really appreciate this. And we will keep in touch. And yes, in the future, we'll take classes. Rose, do you want to say anything?
No, I was saying thank you, Maria. This was really great information. I'll definitely be signing up for some classes too.
Me too.
Okay, great.
Maria,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay,
Thank
you too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.
now our
Well-
next one, Rose.
We have another speaker, right?
Yes, Rose.
Yes.
Your turn.
Yes, I know we have another speaker. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Rose.
Yes.
The
All
whole
right.
world can hear you.
So
Hello.
our next speaker is from New York State Institute of Disability, Doris Khan, and she's here with us right now.
Well, actually, it's Julie Hawkins.
Yes.
Doris?
I'm here, but Juliet, my colleague Juliet Hawkins, will speak about the crisis management program which she directs.
Okay, great.
So she will talk now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I will talk. So the program that I'm going to talk about is called the Brooklyn Parent Empowerment Program. This is a program that from New York State Institute on Disability. It's a crisis behavior management program that's available to individuals living at home with their caregivers in Brooklyn. And the goal of our program is to empower parents by teaching them positive behavior management techniques and providing them with a written, structured behavior plan. We do an assessment. We teach parents positive behavior management techniques. Our goal is not only to deal with the behaviors that are having difficulty now, but to give them the tools so that in the future, they have a way to deal with other things that may come up. And the plan, the written structured plan is developed in collaboration with the family so that it's practical and family friendly. And the reason that I'm talking about it now is that for some reason, I'm not getting a lot of referrals from Brooklyn. And I know, and we also have this program in Queens and the Bronx, but Brooklyn, for some reason, we're not getting a lot of referrals. And with the pandemic and the fact that it's the stress that's having on families, I'm sure there are a lot of people that could benefit from this program. The person, in order to have to be eligible, has to have OPWDD eligibility. But since this is a family support program, they don't have to have the waiver. And we offer this in English and in Spanish. Doris, my colleague, put information in the chat about how to get in contact with me in order if you want to participate in the program. So I just wanted to make that announcement that we have openings in Brooklyn. So anybody have questions or anything, I can answer it. Otherwise, that's it.
Judah, this is Chris. Before we do that, I'm going to ask our co-chairs if they have questions first. Anyone else has a question, please, please raise your hand or please put your say on the chat that I have a question so we can make sure we go one at a time. Co-chairs, who's going first?
Rose, do you have a question?
Not a question, but Julia, just a comment. I know you said you're not getting any referral from Brooklyn. Is this information also being disseminated to the CCOs? All three CCOs, do they have that information? The care coordination organization? Because they're the ones that really, make the referrals for the individual and discuss these new, services with family members.
Yes, actually we do, and Doris is in charge of our outreach, but we outreach to the CCOs. We outreach. I think the pandemic has affected a lot of things because we didn't have this problem before the pandemic at all. That's why I'm, came to this meeting to announce it now. But yes, we do outreach. Okay. And most of our referrals do come from care managers, but we also get them from schools and from word of mouth and, things like that.
Well, Julia, this is Deborah Greif. I know that the advisory council puts it on their website, but due to the fact that most of the families are under the assumption they can't get any services, very few services in the home, that's why your numbers may be going down for Brooklyn. I hope, but I would appreciate you resend us the information to put on the website, but also
on the website.
Yes, I know, but wait a second and let me finish. What we need also is an explanation of what the service can do and what do the families need or the care managers need to make sure the individuals get? Is this under family support or is this under waiver? That's the part we need to know.
Yes. So,
Because
yeah,
is it a
you're right.
waiver or non-waiver?
Yeah, this is under family support, and I think that's a people do assume that they need the waiver for it, and I think that's another thing. So that's why I'm making it clear that if the person just has eligibility, that's all they need.
Okay, what now? Does your program also help someone establish eligibility? Why? Because I know of a family whose child was constantly diagnosed with mental illness, but the child was really in the autistic spectrum. And because this crisis intervention in another county in New York State, though, was able to then prove that the child was really in the autistic spectrum with and was OPWD eligible. Does this program do that?
No, we don't, because our contract calls for us to serve people who are already eligible. That's one of the criteria in order for us to serve them. However, in terms of what NYSED does, another program is that we do have do evaluations, non-Medicaid evaluations for people who need to establish eligibility. And if somebody, like if I get a call from a person who's not already eligible, I try to direct them to the direction of how they can establish that, whether, directing them to the intakes of the CCOs or other non-Medicaid service coordination agencies.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, but see, that is also, it mixes up a lot of people. I understand everything you're saying. So I appreciate, like, when you have us put the information on the website, this is a family support service. This is under family support, but you have to be OPWD eligible. If you need eligibility, NYSED, we can refer you to our non-Medicaid, to help you get the eligibility. That would also help too, because I do understand your frustration. It's very hard. And I want to keep this program for family support because it's so important.
Yes, I mean, I agree. And again, I think it's really just the pandemic that has affected us getting the word out there. And that's why, I think people could really benefit. And I mean, sometimes when we do the evaluations, we actually get, some people from that who are saying, one of the reasons that they're trying to get services is that they're having all these stressors with their children. Mm-hmm. And not knowing how to, and by the way, there's no age limit either. So it could be an adult child living at home that's giving problems. That doesn't matter. We still work with the family.
I understand that, but you see, I have to tell you, we got to have things spelled out, because when I'm on my statewide meeting, all of us are saying the same thing. We find that, you write the things, but not everybody understands. So what I asked, if you can add the explanation or what I've said, it may help.
Okay.
And,
it's also, there's a flyer that we put out, and it is stated on the flyer as well, but we can, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I'm going to jump in for a second. I did ask someone, just to let you know, one, it's already on our website, because I'm looking at my other laptop to my right. It's on there. But if you're seeing there is a problem, instead of putting it in a flyer, can you please, between you and Doris, can send me the link information so I can add it into the website by the end of this week? So I can put it on a high alert to let people know if there's an issue. I will forward it to make sure that family does have that information. And I'm going to remind everyone in this room today, and I will mention it almost every meeting. Guys, for everyone, even Maria will agree with me, even Lucy, please look at the website. Get your families to look at the website for a reason. Service openings does change every week. That's including events, trainings. I might sometimes put news update, like, unfortunately now I have to say breaking news. Unfortunately, on sad news, Charlie Hope passed away. Breaking news. Now the new acting commissioner just came in. So I'm reminding everyone, please send us that information, and I will add that later on. But I can understand the frustration, and I know you guys very well because you guys do send me the information. But if you're seeing there is a problem, I thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
Okay, so I mean, if you want to, us to create a blurb that kind of, instead of it being all on a flyer, just some, specific points that, for the family, that's not a problem.
Yeah, I would. We both would like that because, as I said, we want to assist you very much. We don't want. I'm fought very hard for this program to stay, and I will fight again because we want to make sure that all families are getting the help, and due to the fact that what you're offering is wonderful, but unfortunately people probably don't know because of COVID. But also, if we have that explanation, that would be a big help.
Yes.
Judah, we have a question for you. To answer this question also, Sandy, her information is on our website also. So I'm just letting her know as well. But the other question is let me see. Well, first of all, I'm going to make this clear. When you have a chance, on your chat, Sandy Naper has asked you, can you please email it to snaper@adaptnetwork.org? And I suggest, since you're here, I know Doris, you did put it in, but again, can you guys re-put it back into the chat again? And as Rose is just putting on the chat again, everyone today, please, Miss Judah, can you please just put all your information in the chat again, or Dolores, whoever, so therefore they can get it. Sandy, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, put your email and contact information again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I saw the other part of the question. Yeah.
Just that part. Just put that in.
Sandy Neighbor, do you have additional question?
Yeah, it said, I saw it in the chat.
No, I know, but I want to double check with her because when she's saying virtual or in person, Sandy, can you unmute yourself?
No, Chris, no,
Yes?
that's the only question I have. That's
Okay.
the one that's in the chat. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the answer is virtual or in person.
Okay. Right now, we still are doing things virtually. However, this is an in-home program and we intend to be back in the home. We just are not there yet, but we will be probably sooner than later if things are going in the right direction with the pandemic.
That explains why too, because if you haven't been able to go in the home, that doesn't help.
That's true. Although I'm not having those problems in Queens and the Bronx, so that's true. Yeah. So.
Well, no disrespect to the other two boroughs right now. Okay, who's speaking?
Me, you're the
No, someone else.
No, I was bringing a point up to Julia that
No, that wasn't you. I was talking. I heard someone else saying something before you.
Right. Julia, I just want to say that I can't talk for, I don't understand, but Brooklyn, I don't know, but we will try to see what we can do to help you with this.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's really a matter. I mean, I think there's been a lot of turnover in staff. There's a lot, where people who may have known about it don't know about it. So I really think it's just getting the information out. I don't think it's any reflection on anything. It's just a matter of getting it out there,
Yes, and with what we can do, whatever we will do to help you.
I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure because, as I said, the advisory council's role is to advocate for the family support programs, and that's why we also have our website. We do appreciate when you and other agencies send us the information so we can put it on the website updated, because we were trying to help as many families as possible. So I want to thank you, because I appreciate that Doris is always coming to the meetings. I know, Julia, you do try to make it too, but I understand, but we are trying to help you. But
I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions for?
Well, one question came from me. The answer is yes, this is recorded. All meetings of DD or advisory must be recorded because it's called recording minutes. And you don't have to write minutes on a subcommittee, but recording is better to keep this information. Rose and Debbie, it's your turn now. Unless no one else have any additional questions, there is none on the chat.
I was gonna add Juliet also, you can probably maybe attend our Brooklyn City Council meeting as well, and also make another announcement there, as well for the
You mean the joint meeting, Rose?
The joint meeting, yes, that's correct.
Yes, and I've attended some of them. Doris attends all of them, and I attend when I can. Yes, you're right. That's definitely very useful too.
And as I say, Julia, I take it very seriously, and that's why I asked you to write certain explanations, because I really want it could speed up getting people to being able to try to apply to get this service, because I know how important it is to have this crisis intervention come in to the home. I mean, if you guys can also but explain whether you can come in the home or if it's done virtually. That's also the families as well as the agencies need that information to know.
Yes, and then we will be back in the home. That's how we were going before the pandemic, and that's where we'll be again. So,
okay, well, just also try to make it to, if you can. If not, Doris can make the announcement. Also, we make sure you guys put it in the chat for that meeting as well as get us the correct information before Friday. So over the weekend, we can put it on the advisory council's website, because we help. That one of the roles of that is to help the Brooklyn DD Council. When your agent, any agency has information that will help the family, we're going to, as I said, put it on, because it's very important to us.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since there's no other questions, Rose and Debbie, we want to thank New York Institute of Disability bringing us this information, because crisis is important. But I do want to thank Doris also, because she did ask the both co-chairs, can she come in and speak? And I actually like that very much, because it shows that we are working together, and we got to stay New York tough.
That's right. By the way, if other agencies want to do a presentation or explanation of what their programs are, please inform myself, Rose, and Christopher, and we will get back to you, because this will be helping to apply for get more information. And we're trying very hard. Also, please, everyone, come to the joint meeting next Wednesday. Yes, it's on the 17th, and that's because we know the week after is Thanksgiving. And we know how important it is for families to get things ready and prepared. So that's why we're meeting on the third Wednesday. And we want everybody to participate. So please. We also, Christopher, I really want to also thank Maria Ortiz Casada from New York City Medicaid for coming, because the information she provided was very helpful. Yes. Do you agree, Rose?
Yes, I agree. No, I want to thank all of our speakers, and I wanted to add that, as you can see, the meeting is productive and fruitful, right? With a wealth of information. The more speaker we have, the better, the better it is. So if you are on this call and you have any suggestions, ideas, or speakers or topics, please reach out to both myself and Debbie, so we can ensure that we get this information across to our families, providers, and CCOs. So thank you, all of you.
Right.
Now, guys, before you two think this is the, we need to remind people for the next month's meeting date, and then I have my announcement for the next joint meeting.
That's correct. Wait.
Ladies.
Okay, yes, and the next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, December 8th, for the joint, for us.
No, information.
Family and, as I'm saying, Family and Provider Information Committee.
And I remind everyone again, before you come on, because I heard problems already this morning. Some of you are not following instructions to make sure, as I mentioned this last month's meeting, please check your computers and make sure you're up to date, because Ring Central, Zoom, and WebEx, I've been updating, especially for the ADA compliance procedure, because there were a lot of issues going on right now. That's why the phone code is not available at this time until they fix the ADA accessibility routine, because it'll be very hard to keep track. And video is available on your cell phone, tablet, and computer. You can also link it on your phone. Please follow the instructions. That video is available on our website. Now, as I'm going to remind everyone, as Debbie already mentioned, as well as Rose agrees with me on this too, the next joint meeting is next Wednesday. As to remind you, this link, v.ringcentral.com/welcome, is available. Make sure you put your name and the meeting ID number, which is right here on the bottom. Once you're on, you can make sure your microphone is on. I will say that next week's joint meeting, we will let you know if we have a speaker or not, but we will make sure we talk business. A lot of business is coming down. As you heard, the new acting commissioner just came in. We just got that word at 9:47 a.m. this morning. More information will be available by next week. But I do want to remind everyone to please make sure you visit our website, which is already on your chat at www.bfssac.com. And I'd like to remind all agencies, if you know that you cannot find something, go to service openings, go to find New York City, New York State routine. You may not realize there are a lot of information on our website is in there. And if you have service openings or training or an event coming up, and I'm going to repeat, trainings, please let us know. I need it by no later by this Friday. If it comes in before Friday, it's not going to go on until the next week. And I cannot do a training on short notice. That is very hard for a parent to check. By Sunday evening, you can check the website, or Monday. You will see a weekly update reminder. And remind people, we do not ask you to please put you on the mailing list. You can find this information out when you get the email from the advisory email or the website. Due to the fact that a lot of people's emails are having a lot of problems or encrypted, since the encrypted system some people are using are the old ones until they're updated, we are just letting you know the meeting schedule is available on our website. But no, not all meetings could be last minute adjustment canceled or rescheduled. Please check the day before. The adult information meeting is still scheduled. Children's meeting was canceled yesterday. It will be to be announced for December if there is one. As a reminder, there are a lot of issues with schools right now. We need to work together to help out the best we can, due to the fact that our schools are having major problems with transportation, following the IEP, and much more. So all I'm saying is if you know there's a problem with that family with school issues, please make sure they let the councils, and I will say councils, know, as well as your elected officials know as well. And I know Roxanne Pasal's representative is hearing me about this, and she definitely agrees with me on that as well. So I know she's here. But I am a little disturbed a little bit. I have to remind our agencies that I had to hear this from parents the other day. I am reminding everyone again, and I mean again and again, please let's make our lives easy so I don't have to hear panic attacks. Please make sure, everyone, that you please get on our website on the transportation page 1 for seniors or people with disabilities. Please make sure that their last name, their first name, if they don't have an email address, help them to create one. And that should be only for the Omni division. If they want to use it for Medicaid, Social Security, fine. If they already have a accessory email linked, let them combine it with the Omni. I know a fact, unless I have permission from the co-chair, unless she wants me to say it.
Yeah, permission for what?
You linked yours.
Go ahead.
Yeah. As Debbie's testing the Omni card, she linked it because she has accessory. She linked it as she's testing the Omni reduced fare. Right now, there is no information when they're going to switch it. Still use your reduced fare Metro card. If you want to know where you can get the full fare, check where stores are selling them. Last time I checked was 7-Eleven was doing it, some Walgreens, some Walmart, and I will say any store that sells gift cards, they will sell it. Yes, there is a $5 charge to activate it, but at least it's better than $10. But again, page 1 must be filled out. Make sure the information is up to date. So please do that. And if you're still interested for the training about the Omni, please email it to the MTA, which is Sarah Barrer, which you can email it to accessibility@nyct.com. And she will get back to you when they have set up dates. The main thing is she will be doing it on Zoom. Both councils may be doing it in the future. We will let you know. But I remind you, you have choices of mailing the form or bring it to any of the vehicles. Do not bring it to Stone Street because you must make an appointment. It's better to bring it to the vehicle. If you are going to mail it, please make sure you have a copy of it. Take a picture so it lasts longer. Okay? Does anyone has a question for me? Okay. Since no one else has that, and I'm going to use this word. I put my word, thank you. But now it's Rose. Are we ready to do announcements?
Yes, we are.
Rose, you want to go first? Because it's
Yes.
Red Rose Day.
So yeah, actually my announcement is this year have a job. I think I put it in the chat. We have a job opening for it's an employment specialist position. However, the person has to have ASL skills. We did a job coach. We have a small hearing impaired program at BCS. So we are looking for a case manager that have the ability to do sign language. So that program is to access via as an employment specialist, and they will be going out in the community with individuals and providing job coaching. It's about 35 hours a week, Monday to Friday. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It's a full-time position. I did put my contact information in the chat. If you are interested or know anyone with that specialized skills who would be interested in the position, please feel free to email me. Thank you.
And Rose, just to let you know, regarding that, I already have that on the website.
Great, thank you.
And just to let everyone know, if you have an opening regarding sign language, and you want us to put it in, the answer is yes, we still put that in on our website. In case you guys are thinking of it, I already caught you red-handed, everyone, because you don't realize that a person might need assistance. Sign language is very important. Dolores Khan, you had your other special way of hands up, and I thank you for doing that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Doris Khan, and I'm the outreach coordinator for New York State Institute on Disability. We're a family reimbursement agency. We have a few announcements. We have openings in evaluations for non-Medicaid individuals who need an evaluation for OPWDD eligibility. If you want an evaluation, contact Elizabeth Sunshine at 917-699-0578, or you can email her at esunshine@nysidinc.org. We also have reimbursement for goods and services in camp. And for this, you contact Jackie Trabodi at 929-202-1115. And her email address is jtripodi@nysidinc.org. We now have tickets for recreational outings. Since COVID, we've had venues reopening, like the Bronx Zoo and other places in the city. And you can get tickets from Sarah Alton at 718-494-6457. Her email address is alton@nysidinc.org. We also provide free transportation to go to these outings. And that for transportation, you would contact John O'Grady at, what was his number? John O'Grady at 917-747-9424, or you can email him jogrady@nysidinc.org. We also have free car service for medical appointments. And if you need car service for a medical appointment, you could also contact John for these type of service.
Dolores, I have a question because I have to speak as MTA right now. If a person has a walker or a wheelchair, how do you guys do that for car service?
He does have accommodation for that. You would have to tell him that you need that kind of car that would be able to accommodate that.
If you have a chance, can you ask John to do me a favor because I can defend this? Because
Sure.
ask him what the vehicle looked like, and you can take a picture and send it to me because
Sure.
the
Sure.
reason why I'm going to say this, and I think Sandy and Debbie and Rose can agree with me, because some people, and I'll say some, because some people do like it, some people don't. They don't like that green and yellow one they have to enter to the back, thinking they're a luggage. That's why the one thing there are complaints, and I know one person, which I'm not mentioning her name, doesn't like that either. But I just need to know this clarification.
Chris, what are you talking about green and yellow? What do you mean a green and yellow car?
The taxis.
Oh, the car services.
No. Taxis. The taxis. The green and yellow taxis.
Okay, I will ask him for that, to take a picture of his cars, and that would give explanation to what.
Because the reason is because you know that somebody might bring this up, maybe not today, but at, let's say, the joint meeting, you know, some of them might have a panic attacks. That's why I just want to let people know.
Right.
That,
so I will ask him just to be sure.
Yes.
Right.
Just to play safe.
I put all the contact numbers and links I put in the chat also. People want to take advantage of that.
Thank you, Doris.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question for Loris, or I'm going to proceed to the next young lady? Okay. Sandy, neighbor. Don't let me call you from the next stop. Calling on Sandy neighbor. Are we still here?
Oh, we're still here, Chris.
No, I gotta have a little something here.
Okay, I'm ready to roll, Chris. Okay.
Yes. Well, right now you must be going express, so don't go too fast.
Okay, I'll read slowly. Adapt Community Network is having a free webinar supporting your child with autism through doctor's visits on Wednesday, November 17th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You'll learn ways to support your child's communication skills and sensory needs at the doctor's office and during medical procedures. Our speaker will be Lauren Donnelly, PhD. She's a psychologist at NYU Langone, and she works at the Autism Service, providing evaluations and treatment. So to register, you see there's a link on the chat, and you just have to click on the link and you could register. Or if you have a problem with the link, you could email familyconnect@adaptcommunitynetwork.org. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Sandy. Pat Lou, front and center. And there's nothing wrong with the microphone.
Hello.
Hello, Pat.
Can you hear me?
New
Yes,
Jersey.
I can hear you too.
Yes, I can hear you from
All
all the way
right.
from Queens.
So right before the good afternoon, so I'm still good morning, everyone. This is Pat Lou from GHL. As I post on the chat, we GHL has immediate openings for family support services. We assist family who are seeking OPWDD service, who are new. So we help them with a lot of pre-enrollment, pre-eligibility, all the activities and needs. So we will help them to make a referral for evaluation. Although now it's not that easy, there are long waiting lists for the family with Medicaid, and it's much easier to get the one that to do the evaluation with without Medicaid. I know the New York State disability, your agency have been very helpful. We've been referring. So, and then after the evaluation, we'll help them to get the correct, prepare their eligibility package and submit to the OPWDD, and hopefully get them enrolled to the family support, case management, and eventually help them to get into the appropriate CCOs. And then our service, we have a bilingual speaking staff available. We speak Korean and Chinese. And for our other service, for adult service, we have our job training program, and they have without war service. They have immediate openings. They do in person and also virtual. It depends on the family's need. And for our job training program, we have also staff can do sign language also. Okay, thank you. I will give my phone number again. My phone number is 718-307-6563. Pat Lu from GHO. Thank you.
Thank you,
Pat, I do have someone. Pat, there was a comment earlier. You came in late. Some people have been trying to reach you. Can you please clear your voice message so it doesn't say the message is full?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Sure.
I'm just going to say it's an easy term. This was from the DDRO. They asked that question. I'm not saying who it is.
Okay, sure.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Let me check if Ellie Grant from representing State Senator Roxanne Passad. You can unmute if your mic's working.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
You mean good
Can you
afternoon?
hear me, Chris?
I can hear you
Yeah,
loud.
good morning.
Good morning. I
Mhm.
don't have anything right now to share.
But just to let you know, it's glad to see you. I think you got a lot of good information today.
Yes, thank you so much. Indeed.
There was a question that came up earlier, and I know that parent had to run to the other meeting. Is the senator doing any turkey drives coming up?
We are compiling a list of people. You can call us at 718-649-7653. And as soon as we know when it will happen, we will be calling everyone.
Thank you so much. And if I know you guys do email it to me, and I do make sure it's on our website.
Alrighty.
So I just want to know, I do put out the turkey drives. I do ask all elected officials, if you're having a drive and you want to make sure that area of your districts or people with disability wants to know, therefore I tell them, please call them. So I do want to make that clear for the recording record.
Will do. Will do.
But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see. Who is DFFRENCH? Please unmute yourself. Okay. Might take him a second. Count. Nick from PHP, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. Hi, my name is Nick LaBruna from Partners Health Plan. I'm an outreach associate with us. And if anyone has any questions about what our plan has to offer, I'd be happy to speak with you. And we continue to enroll people into our plan. And there are some nice benefits and perks you get with us that you may not get with Medicare and Medicaid. My phone number is 646-771-3184, and I will put that in the chat. Does anyone have any questions?
Rose?
No questions? No.
I don't have either.
Nick, I did send you an email a couple of weeks ago. Can you please respond to that?
Sure. Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, since no one else has a question for Nick, I'm gonna see is who is Miss Dixon Kessler? I don't think so. Anyone else for the last call for announcements? Otherwise, we're gonna say Rose, Debbie.
We are going to say thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you all on December 8th.
And we'll see you at the
Thank you,
meeting.
everybody.
Have a great one, everyone.
You too. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Rose.
Hi.
And Rose, the attendance was 30.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that means now you can go to sleep.
Yep, I'm about to go right now. Thank you.
Yeah. No, lunchtime.
I know. Oh, thank you, guys. We'll talk soon.
Strong meeting. Now I gotta stop the recording, which is still on. Hold on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye.